This is fine. Okay, I think that's not gonna work. Never let a bubbler freeze in your car and then try to open it. That was not smart. Okay, so we learned something. Now my hands smell like pomegranate acai. Okay. Oh my goodness. Be nice if I had microphones that had cough protection, but sorry folks. All right, folks, it's the day after Hockey Day in Minnesota 2026, which was held here in Hastings yesterday. We are the dessert to that Hockey Day Minnesota as the U10B1 Blue Spartacats take on the Hastings Raiders here from McGee Rink here at Hastings Civic Arena. These two teams have played before. We'll talk about that a little bit later. As soon as we set the lineups, we have Zoe Scott and Olivia Shack are your defenders. Ruth J. War starts between the pipes for the Spartacats. Baker and Olson and Marcel are your forwards. This one's on Olson's stick. She tries to chip it around the boards and brings it over the blue line. Intercepted there by a stout Hastings defense. Just into the first period of this one. This one fired toward the point. Shack can't hold that one in. Shack will claim. She'll go D to Scott. Scott flips it in. This one's going to get by a couple of players. I think the Raiders will get to it before it gets to the end, and they do. Raiders trying to break out far side. Shack can't quite hold that one in. Olson's coming for a change, so Scott will retreat for that one. Just underway here in Hastings is Zoe Scott attacking with a pass opportunity for Nurka. Nurka slides that one wide. Nice drop pass that time by Scott. Nurka just slid it wide. Nurka pressing. Let's see who the defense pairing is here. Bauman, it looks like Bauman and Kron are your defense pairing, with Meller, Nelner, and I think Nurka your forwards. Kron's pass intercepted that time by the Raiders. Here come the Raiders the other way. Kron goes for the poke check, breaks that up nicely. Opportunity, but she just feeds the point. Girls in blue, the Spartacats need to get to this puck, and they do. Here's Eden Meller. Eden Meller with a head of steam moving up the sideboards. Loses an edge there. Raiders take control of it in their own end. Spartacats in their royal blues with the white trim, white numbers. Hastings Raiders in their home whites with the blue and yellow trim, yellow helmets. And since we've started, we have not had a stoppage in this game so far, as Olson digs that one out of the corner, circles on her backhand. Olson trying to feed it to the middle, defensed well. Now Olson feeds the pass to the middle. Opportunity for Baker, and it slides in. Slides in towards the goalie, but not a shot on goal, as that puck was going to go through the crease and out. But an offensive zone faceoff in our first whistle of the first period. Both teams with relatively short benches. Spartacats are missing Mira Donahue today. That one goes across the face of the goal, goes to the far side. Marcel battles there, loses that battle, but the Hastings player can't get control of it either. Hastings now tries to break it out. Baker battles there. Keeps it in. It's on her skates. Now she spins, turns, wants to get this on her forehand, shoots, and slides it wide. Again, no shots on goal for either team. Raiders chip that one past the defense. Comes down into the Spartacat end. As Marcel battles there, this comes to the point. Raiders hold it in. Scott battles there. This one comes in towards J-War, but it's kept out. This one's going to go for Nelner. Can Nelner get on the end of this? And Nelner's not going to get on the end of it. Oh, if Nelner had known that was going to squirt through, she would have had an opportunity to break onto it. Unlucky that time. She was fresh off the bench, absolutely could have gotten there, but she just had the wrong angle. She wasn't expecting that one to get through to her. In any event, we play on. Meller, Nelner, and I think Baker are your Nurk are your forwards. This one tied up in the referee's skates. Nelner battles there. Meller comes over to help. Spartacats trying to get it out on the near side. This is Nurka, backhands that towards the blue line, but it stays in. Here comes Bauman. Bauman sends that forward. Kept in by Nelner. Nelner brings that over the blue line. It's taken that time by the Raiders. Circle behind their net. Meller battles behind the net, tries to get to that puck. Again, these two teams did play at Danglefest. Spartacats with a dominating win in that game. Kron back for this one, circles around Ruth J. War. Has to get her eyes up, speeds it forward, but didn't quite hit it square. And it stays in the attacking zone for the Raiders until Nurka can bring it out to neutral ice. Nurka slams this one down into the corner, gives chase. She's behind the net with an opportunity, feeds Marcel in front. Marcel shoots, opportunity, and she scores! Marcel from Nurka with somehow 7:49 to go. And the first shot of the game goes to the Spartacats, and it ends up in the back of the net. Marcel from Nurka, and the Spartacats have a 1-0 lead. So nice play that time by Nurka, getting behind the net. Referee keeps that one in. This one comes to the blue lines, kept in smartly that time. Behind the Raiders, battle there for Scott. Marcel feeds that forward. That's going to go by everybody. Olsen's going to give chase. But the Raiders will get there first. Olsen unable to keep that in. Shack has it on her stick. Whips it towards the blue line. This is Nelner. She's going to have a forehand on it. And offside on the far side. As Maren Olsen has strayed into the naughty land. Can't do that. Ahead of the puck. Unlucky that time for the Spartacats. Nelner did not hesitate. Was coming across the blue line with intent. And I'll apologize now. I am battling a bit of a cold, so we'll see how this goes. Miller on the far side. Can't quite control it. Raiders coming the other direction. This is Zoe Scott with it. Feeds it forward for Miller. Miller has that off of her stick. Raiders will circle behind the net. Miller deep with a forecheck. Gets a stick to it. Nicely done. Intercepted by Nurka. Nurka tries to battle 1v2 far side. Hastings player unable to get up. Nurka centering pass comes to the top of the crease, but it's parried away that time by the Houston Raiders. Hastings Raiders. Good centering pass that time by Miller. Again finds the front of the crease, but no more as this comes back for Zoe Scott. Scott with an opportunity, feeds Nelner. Nelner steaming up through, now through the neutral ice. Gains the zone, has it on her backhand, tries to get to the corner, slides it to the middle, and it's claimed there by the Raiders. Good pass by Nelner to the side. Nurka was lurking. Somebody in blue needs to get in front of the Raiders as they steam through neutral ice. This is Kron, who whips it down the other way. Took a deflection, so that's going to be stopped from going for icing. Cats changing behind the play. This is Marcel quickly off the bench, the goal scorer so far of the day on the first shot of the game. Buck's still in the offensive zone, and now the Raiders get it out. Play right at below the camera, right in front of the benches. Both teams have to be very careful there. There's potential. I think Olsen just fell down, but Spartacat bench might have been looking for a penalty there. This comes from Bauman. Bauman feeds forward, gets that out of the zone, so the Raiders will have to clear. And they do, smartly done. Kron steps up to play defense there, slaps it off the boards, gets it to Baker. Baker clears the zone, and I don't think this is going to go for icing. And they wave it off as Marcel goes deep on the forecheck. Raiders with a great exit pass that time, but it's stopped by Kron on the far side. Kron battling there, keeps it in. Baker tries to send it to the middle. Baker didn't know it was still there behind her. Kron far side. Kron centering pass. Opportunity right in front. That's a shot on goal. And now the Raiders go the other direction. Nurka with a good back check now. Kron covering the middle. Raiders player just lost an edge there, but it falls to the Raiders in the middle. Shot, their first shot of the game, that for the Raiders. That one goes off of Jay War's pads. It's claimed in the middle. Opportunity in the middle. Here comes Kron. Kron's got a head of steam. Kron comes to the middle. Now she's going to go far side. Comes in over the blue line. Shoots. And stopped by the keeper. Keeper did not know where it was, but wisely covers up. Third shot of the game for the Spartacats. I'm giving Hastings credit one for the attempt on the other end on Ruth Jaywar, as Jaywar is replaced by Melissa Wilhelm. Meller, Nelner, and I think that's Nurka over there. This one's going to go the other direction, and icing against the Raiders will bring the face-off back to the right of the Raider cage. Good crowd out here for the Raiders and the Spartacats. Again, yesterday was Hockey Day Minnesota. For anyone familiar with the Hastings Arena, they've got some beautiful decorations on the outside of the arena and inside the arena as well. Miller with an opportunity. Miller could not unload the trigger. Tries the wraparound attempt. Broken up by the defense. Nicely done on the far side. Nelner tries to hold this in. Does. As Baker battles there. Miller now deep with the forecheck. This is Shack who comes to the far side. Shack whips it in. Goes behind the net. Miller chases a check. That's Baker chasing. All three forwards for the Spartacats against the wall. Probably need to spread that out a little bit. Now far side, Miller with a forecheck there. This comes back for the Raiders. Raiders bring it through neutral ice. Shack goes for the poke check, can't quite finish it off, and Zoe Scott takes care of business. Battle right in front of the Hastings bench. Referees kind of in the way, right below the camera. This one comes now to the, I was going to say middle of the ice, and Zoe Scott slaps it right back into the bench area. Nelner tries to get it clear, goes to the far side. Shack will keep an eye there, but the Raiders unable to keep that one from getting into their own zone, and now it's in the far corner. Nelner deep on the forecheck. This will come for Shack. Shack just needs to hold it in. She does. Nelner has another chance to go to work. Miller will try to get it behind the net. Opportunity for Nelner. Tries to feed it to the middle. Miller can't quite get that off of her stick. Centering pass broken up, that time by an alert defense. And Eden Miller in the corner now whips it across. Right, just over the top of the crease. Kept in by Shack. Miller behind the net. Opportunity for Miller. Tries to sneak it in that near post. She's done that before. Another opportunity. Off the back of the goalie, and a shot opportunity there for Nurka. And the Spartacats smelling blood here, perhaps in the first period, as it's been one-way traffic so far in this game. Olsen with the face-off, shot right on. That's another shot on goal for the Spartacats. This one goes far side. Now Marcel behind the net will try to feed it right into the crease. Can't get the wood on it. Olsen battles there, but is dispossessed. Marcel unable to keep it in. And this one gets by everybody. Olsen with a great back check there. Throws it towards the near boards, gets it out of the zone. Smartly done. That should be offside. I'm not sure why the whistle wasn't blown. I know the Spartacats did get to it quickly, but they should still blow the whistle. Kron has it, whips that down deep, and this is not going to go for icing. Referees conferring by eye contact, and the Raiders will circle just to get that out of their zone. This is Kron who will come back for this one. Kron has to get her eyes up, does. Feeds it to the outside to Nurka. Nurka can't quite handle that one. It's to Olsen. That got out. And that's offside against the Raiders with 1:25 to go here in the first period. And a neutral zone faceoff for the Raiders. Spartacats continuing their successful season. Third place finish in Fargo, a second place finish at Danglefest, and the Spartacats Spectacular Championship among their laurels. Hastings doing a good job of clogging up the middle. Not exactly opening themselves up for a lot of offense, but doing a good job of preventing the Spartacats from skating through. That's either a body check or it's interference, but the referees are going to let that go. Good back check that time by Miller. Miller with a set of steam. Splits the defense, around the defense, gets it, keeps it on her forehand, shoots, and it goes wide. Inside the last minute of play. Baker far side, Shack's gonna try to keep it in. She does, nicely done. Nelner's gonna try to hold it in. Scott can't keep it down. Baker's gonna back check, does. Comes all the way back to the blue line. Stayed in momentarily. It still stayed in, and now the Raiders clear the zone. 20 seconds to go. Let's see if the Spartacats can mount one more rush. This is Zoe Scott leaving off for Aurelia Nelner. Nelner feeds that down the near side, wraps around the cage, and Nurka will watch it as the Hastings Raiders claim it. Now Nurka pinches in. This is Miller. Miller with a little bit of space. Miller feeds the point. Comes to Shack at the point. 2 seconds to go, and the buzzer will expire, and that is the first period. I think if Miller had known that there had been only a handful of seconds left, she probably would have fed that right to the front of the goal. Instead, she tried to go back to the point, and Shaq ran out of time being able to steering that onto the goal. Shots officially on the board, 5-0 in favor of the Spartacats. I actually think it's 5-1 probably, and I think the Hastings Raiders had one off of the side of Ruth Jaywar in the first period. But the defensive prowess of this team cannot be understated. The fact that they're on pace to give up three shots on goal for the whole game is certainly proof positive of their quality with respect to being able to win hockey games. The other team can't get shots on goal, they're not going to score. They don't score, they cannot win the game. And this team's advantage this season has been they have given up so few shots, so many games where they've given up less than 10 shots on goal, that they can win games 2-0 or 1-0. Spartacats will switch ends now. They'll be going from left to right on your device, on your screen. Ruth Jaywar back between the pipes. Bauman and Kron, your defenders. Marcel, Olsen, and somebody for the Spartacats. This is Baker. Second period action from Hastings Civic Arena about to start. And we are underway here in the second period. That went up. I think it hit somebody on the bench. So clearing opportunity for the Raiders, ends up in the bench or on the bench. So as a result, we'll have a quick whistle. Face-off win that time by the Raiders. Opportunity for Marcel. Tries to get it, slides it in. It's almost covered by the goalie, but the defender took it away from her. A little bit dangerous there, a little miscommunication. Marcel found herself with a gift right in front of her. Could not quite get the wood on it. This one goes the other direction. Kron chips that one out. This one won't find neutral ice. Back to Kron. Kron now gives it a little more of a heave. Swings it by a couple of players. Kron tries it again. Now goes far side. Hastings Raiders with it far side. Chip it out of the zone. Bauman pinching and battling. That gets sent back down in. And the Cats will chase. This is Kron. Kron with it will chip that off the boards. We'll find Olsen. Olsen chips that off the boards. Marcel will chase. And this is not going to be icing, as the Raiders had a chance and slowed down. It's going to be held in by Olsen. Well, I should say I thought it was going to be held in by Olsen. Kron holds it in right side of your screen. Sends it down for Marcel. Marcel behind the net. Now into the far corner. Olsen chases. Good move there by the Raiders. Now they'll exit the zone. Nice puck handling by the Raiders as they come to neutral ice. Better defense that time by Kron, breaking that up. Nicely done. Puck gets loose. This is Olsen, slaps that off the boards, but it falls nicely. That time and an opportunity for the for the Raiders, their second shot of the game. A good shot. Spartacats a little bit ineffective there in terms of getting a clearance. And Ruth Jaywar will watch a defensive zone face-off just to her right. Referee lining everybody up. Puck's down, here we go. This one wrapped around the boards. Comes to Zoe Scott, far side. Scott battles, gets to it. Now it falls for Eden Miller. Eden Miller with a head of steam. Can she maintain her speed through neutral ice? It's sent down deep by Nelner. Miller with a forecheck. Might have been a little hook there, but she gets away with it. Sends it now behind the net. It's going to be claimed there by Nurka. Nurka with an opportunity. Cross pass opportunity. Nelner shot. Saved by the keeper. Another cross centering attempt. Broken up that time by the defense as that was in the blue paint. So good offensive pressure. Better defense that time by the Raiders. Scott tries to send it through a couple of Raiders, but nothing doing. Now Meller with an opportunity. Feeds that down deep, and it goes cross ice all the way into the far corner. That one gets sent the other way, and this one will go for icing against the Raiders. 9:23 to go here in the second period. And apparently a Chardonnay drinking, late 90s event has broken out here as the music takes over. Opportunity for the Spartacats. Now deep in the zone. Finally the Raiders go the other direction. Bauman fell down far side. Cron's going to have to cover near side, far side now. Cron circles. Opportunity. Feeds forward, gets it forward, but it gets by everybody. We're gonna try to get Cron to connect a pass there, and that's offside. Excuse me, that's not offside, it's icing with 8:56 to go here in the second period. Spartacats looking just a little less lustrous than they were in the first period. Need to continue the energy. Offensive zone face-off here to the left of the goalie. Puck's down. Baker will chase. Mercell with a forecheck tries to hold that in. Olsen far side. Now Baker will step to it. Olsen looks in. Can't quite get it to stay on her stick. This is fed forward. Finds Cron. Cron whips it the other direction. Oh, could not get in. That's offside against the Raiders. You could see what Cron was trying to do. She was looking for one of her teammates up the ice, but it was intercepted by the Raiders and put us into an offside position. Raiders will take this face-off far side. Face-off win nominally by the Raiders after Olsen got a good wood on it. We've seen Olsen score in situations like this. Cron comes up. Great poke check there by Cron, taken by Baker, who gets dumped from behind. And that should have been, honestly, that would be an interference penalty if you're going to start teaching the girls how to do this. And somehow we've got 8:22 to go as icing called against the Spartacats. Spartacats with one goal from Elora Mercell from Izzy Nurka. Face off to the right of Ruth Jawar. Puck's down. Spartacats win it, but push it forward right to the Raiders. Raiders send it in towards the crease, taken by Scott. Scott sends that, tries to get that out, tries to feed it forward, but Nelner and Scott couldn't quite get their spacing right. Scott now with an opportunity, now feeds it forward as Nelner and Miller kind of on top of each other. Now Nelner chases. She's going to win that race, try to feed it towards, she's going to get run, and we're not going to have a penalty. Cats might have been offside there, but we play on. My history in youth hockey here from Hastings has always been the officiating has always been just a little bit hard to understand. This one gets whipped down the other direction. Where's the icing? Nobody from the Spartacat bench upset about it, so it must have been touched on the way out. Could not see who that was, but in any event, we play on. Puck on the far side gets whipped in. This one goes down behind the Hastings cage. Spartacats again will chase Nurka. Nelner. Meller feeds to the forward, but no one's there. Opportunity out for Scott, who shoots. Can't quite get good wood on that one. And Shack holds it in momentarily before the Raiders are able to get it out. Nelner with a good poke check. Might have been offside there, but Meller touches up. Raiders circle behind their own cage. To the far side, Meller gets dumped. Meller got dumped by a stick. That's a trip. Good poke check there by Zoe Scott. And it gets out to neutral ice. This is Shack. Finds Scott. Scott tips that in and sends it deep. Spartacats changing behind the play. This one gets whipped down, and this is going to be icing against the Raiders. 6:24 to play. And there have from time to time, as I said, been some curious refereeing decisions in youth hockey down here in Hastings. In the event we play on, Melissa Wilhelm checks in for Ruth J. War. Spartacats lose that face-off, goes to the Raiders. Kept in momentarily, and here's an opportunity. Cron and Bauman are going to have to get back on this one. Cron's going to have to rally. She does. Good poke check that time by Cron as Bauman had got caught deep. Raiders trying to feed the point into the slot. It's tipped, and another opportunity for the Raiders. Perhaps one of the better opportunities they've had in this game. This is Maren Olsen. Maren Olsen through neutral ice. She's got ahead of steam. Now she hits the Jets around a couple of defenders. Olsen shoots. That one slides wide. Marcel gets to that one. Can't control her skates there, but Baker and Marcel battle. Baker battles trying to chip it to the middle. Now Olsen with it quickly. Marcel. Baker. And this one comes up the near side. Here come the Raiders. Cron's got to get to this one. It's a pass that's broken up by Olsen. Far side, that one goes side netting. Baker gets to that one first. She sends it forward, but it's claimed that time at the point by the Raiders. It falls nicely for the Raiders, but she can't keep it on her stick. Nelner and Olsen with it. Olsen tries to get it out, but finds a bunch of Raider sticks. Cats have got to find some open space, some open ice. They keep firing it right at. There's a save by Wilhelm, and she covers. Oh, sorry, bad camera work. Save by Wilhelm, she covers. So an opportunity here for the Spartacats to get a little bit better. Right now, when their clearances are just right at the Raiders, they need to find some open space on the ice for these clearances because they've so far been feeding the point. Face off to the left of Melissa Wilhelm. Nurka battles, sends it across, but she's dispossessed. Shot goes wide. Raiders with a little bit of offensive life here in this second period. Shack tries to get to it, wants to keep it up on the boards, but nobody there in blue. Shack tries to go again. That should have been a penalty. Instead, we play on. Here's Nelner. Nelner with an opportunity. Nelner stick handles, goes around and dumps. And it's a shot on goal for the Spartacats. And a little challenge with the clock, which we will remedy right now. So again, referees there probably should have called a penalty on the Spartacats and did not. This puck goes down the other way. Shack will try to hold it in. Nurka on deep on the forecheck. Gets to that one, but then is dispossessed by the Raiders. Nurka again will take another chance at it. Into the near corner. Raiders with it there. No pressure on her at all as Shack has to step up. Kept in by Miller. Momentarily, let's see if the Spartacats can keep it in, and they can't as it slips out to neutral ice with 3:53 to go. And we'll have a neutral zone face-off between the Raiders and the Spartacats. 1-0. Goal scored all the way back in the first period by Marcel. Spartacats need a couple more here to really salt this thing away. Raiders have that one broken up. This falls for Nelner. Nelner with an opportunity, brings it over the blue line. Dispossessed that time. Nurka with it. And here come the Raiders going the other direction. It's sent in that time by the Raiders. Bauman will chase. Cron watching the middle. Raiders get to it. Centering pass broken up by the Spartacats. Here's Eden Miller. Miller sends it towards the blue line, but it's kept in by the Raiders. Played away by Cron. Cron sees one of her teammates down the ice, but can't get it to her. This one rolls in on Wilhelm. Wilhelm could not get a glove on it. And here comes Miller. Miller with one hand on the stick, tries to come up the nearest boards. Keeps control of it momentarily. Centering pass broken up. I think that's out. Yeah, it is out. And we will have offside against the Spartacats. 2:56 to go. But this second period has been, as I said, rather lackluster for the Spartacats. They have not been playing together and working together as we have seen them do in so many games. Scott and Shaq, your defenders. This is Marcel, Olsen, and Baker as your forwards. Goes to the far side. This is Olsen aggressively deep on the forecheck. This one comes to the near board. Shaq tries to keep it in, and it's going to squirt to neutral ice. Somebody in blue needs to get to on the end of that. Here's an opportunity for the Raiders. They come through, and again, we're going to have our first penalty of the game. So we're going to have our first penalty of the game with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. It'll be a 1-minute power play for the Raiders. Referee explaining to the player what happened and why she's being called for a penalty. So Martin Olsen's going to go for the Spartacats. Your penalty killers will be Shaq, Scott, Meller, and I think Marcel. And the clock is right. We will start here momentarily. So the Raiders with the man advantage for the next minute. Again, power plays at this age, not super helpful. This one comes for Scott. Scott feeds that out, but that's going to be kept in by the Raiders. Well, I thought it was going to be kept in by the Raiders. Raiders lose possession of that one. Marcel almost had it. Meller and Marcel almost collide. Meller back checking now. Nicely done. Gets it out of the zone. Raiders have to clear. They do. They get it in over the blue line. There's Scott. Scott can't get that out. Scott's poke check kept back in by the Raiders. Now sent deep by the Hastings Raiders into the corner. Scott with it again. Feeds it out towards the middle, and this one's going to go, and this one's going to go for icing against the Spartacats. So unlucky there that the pass, the exit pass, wasn't able to be claimed by somebody. Puck's down and the clock starts to run. Shot from the point. Took a deflection off of Nurka. Comes back to the point. Opportunity here for the Raiders. Somebody in blue needs to challenge. That one comes in towards Wilhelm. Wilhelm tries to get the paddle down. Good battle there at the corner. At least one shot opportunity as that one goes wide. Somebody in blue needs to get to this one, and it's Maren Olsen fresh out of the box. Still kept in. Danger still for the Spartacats as this one comes to the middle. This is Kron. She's going to try to get this out. Can't get it out. Goes behind the net. Into the last minute of play. Here's Kron with a head of steam. She just needs to skate with it. She's got nobody with her, needs to skate. Goes by one defender. Opportunity for Kron. Kron shoots. And no, they call no goal. They call no goal. It hit the inside of the post. It hit the inside of the post and did not go in. Referee was in a good spot for that one. Lauren Kron will want to watch that one on replay as Nurka gets to that and feeds it forward. Less than 40 seconds to go. That one would have been huge for the Spartacats. Instead, we play on at 1-0. Nelner sends that one down behind the net. Nurka chases. Nurka lurking. Meller tries to hold it in. It comes out to neutral ice, and this is Bauman. Bauman sends it the other direction, finds finds Marcel. Marcel has it taken off of her stick. Shaq quickly tries to keep it in. Meller far side. Only a few seconds left in this penalty. Meller's going to run out of time. And the Spartacats will watch the period expire. So we're going to give the Raiders at least 2 shots on that flurry going the other direction as we enter the third period. Kron will be upset. She hit the inside of the post and it did not go in. But frankly, given what we've seen from the Hastings Raiders in their defense, girls carrying the puck and attacking the goal is probably a good idea. The Hastings Raiders seem to be doing a good job of clogging up passing lanes. But I think the Spartacats on balance seems like they're a little bit faster, a little bit perhaps more able to go end to end, and maybe a couple of those rushes might be just what the doctor ordered. Actually, we're going to just give them one shot on that flurry. Shots officially 9-2 on the board. I've got it 7-4. In any event, whether you take my count or the official count, Hastings below 5 shots on goal. Spartacats and Raiders will switch ends. 12 minutes on the clock, third period action from Hastings Civic Arena. Puck's down and now we're playing. Scott sends that down deep. This one's going to go off the boards on the far side. Raiders will chase it there. Deep forecheck that time by Meller. Now Baker will chase. Mercell will chase. This one's good exit pass that time by the Raiders. It comes to the middle. Sent in by Meller, but again, the Raiders doing a nice job of breaking that up. Meller whacking at it. Scott can't get to it. Meller goes down in a heap. This one rolls in on J-War, and she'll hold with 11:30 to go here in the third period. Spartacats need a couple of goals, at least 2, to put pressure on the Hastings Raiders. At this point, the Raiders have to feel like they're still in the hockey game at a 1-0 score. Spartacats have got to get a couple more. This is Olsen. Olsen hits the Jets. Olsen through neutral ice. Olsen in, opportunity for Olsen. She cannot pull the trigger. Great poke check that time by the keeper, and the Raiders try to go the other direction. Olsen had a breakaway. Great poke check by the keeper. Tried to move, but it didn't come off. Spartacats battling now in the near corner. Centering pass for Nelner. She claims around the far side, slams on the brakes, tries to puck handle there, feeds it to the middle, and it gets out to neutral ice off of Nurka's stick. Raiders will control and whip it back in. This is Shack. Shack goes cross ice, intercepted by the Raiders. Dangerous pass there, and will Maren Olsen have another chance? She hits the Jets, goes by one defender. Opportunity for Olsen. Olsen shoots, and that one goes up high and over. The answer is yes, Olsen would have another chance. Olsen might still have another chance to feed this to the middle. Olsen slides it to the middle. Somebody in blue needs to put a wood on it. Shack shoots from distance. That rolls in. There's a shot on goal. Spartacats showing some good energy here early in the third period. Shack needs to get to this one. Needs to hold it in. She's got time. She hit that one. Now she's going to have another chance. That one's blocked by the defense. Now Shack sends it into the far corner. Mercell's going to battle there. Olsen's also there. This one comes to the middle. Played there by Nurka. Near side. And good offensive pressure by the Spartacats as Mercell with it again. Feeds that one down, and that one's in the goalie's pads. And another shot on goal for the Spartacats. 9:37 to go here in the third period. Spartacats crisper and cleaner here in this third period. More intense, more aggressive. Second period was very lackluster. Third period has started well for the Spartacats. Raiders control that one, try to feed that to the point. That one's going to get by Cron. Bauman's going to chase. And icing against the Spartacats, not Spartacats, the Raiders. So we'll do it all again. Coaching point there. Cron's got to make sure she's got her stick on the right side of her body when those pucks get near her. Meller, Mercell, and I believe that's Baker over there. Bauman and Cron are your defenders. Good by Mercell behind the net. Comes for Meller. Meller feeds the middle, but no one's there. Cron angling. Cron doing a good job. Good poke check there by Cron. Dispossesses the Raider player. Puck goes the other direction. Marcel gives chase. Good pass that time by the Raiders. This is Cron. Whips that out, but can't go through the defenders. It feeds the point. Bauman with it. Bauman sends that up the boards, but again, it's claimed by the Raiders. Cats have got to find open ice. This one slides down deep towards J-War. Cron whips this around for Baker. Again, not connecting passes. It might be their undoing as that one slides wide. Spartacats just need to skate this out. That get out. That's offside against the Raiders. 8:35 to go. And I'm a little confused as to sure how I missed all that time, but in any event we play on. Spartacats win that face-off. It comes for Scott. She's dispossessed quickly. Cats need to get this one out. Opportunity here for the Raiders as they send it in towards J-War, but she guards the near post. Again, slapping at it are the Raiders. J-War on the near post. Somebody in blue needs to get to this puck. Finally, Nurka to the far side. This is Shaq. Shaq is going to use her shoulder. She gets put up into the boards. Smartly that time by the Raiders. Cats try to whip this out, but again, send it right into the point. Cats have got to find open ice. And that's offside. They never made it back into the zone, so it's not offsides. Ness calls for Scott. Scott gets that out of the zone. Raiders battling with it there. Somebody in blue just needs to skate it. Somebody needs to go. Far side, this is Olsen. Olsen through neutral ice. Olsen with an opportunity, gains the blue line, has it on her forehand, shoots, and it goes wide. Olsen tries to claim the rebound, slides it into the crease. Another chance. Olsen sends it in, but it doesn't get to the goal. I don't think there's a shot on goal there as Nelner battles gamely in front. This comes for Shaq at the point. Shaq shoots. This keeps us on. Opportunity as that rolls in on the goal. And it's frozen by the goalie. That was a good shot by Shaq. She kept it on the deck. She kept it on the deck, and as a result, it was able to make it all the way through to the Hastings goalie. Meller, Marcel, and I believe that's Baker far side. Face-off win that time by the Hastings Raiders. Music needs to be turned off. It's a jamboree field now because the music is still on. Baker taken down. This comes for Cron, sends it in. Baker with it. Baker sends it in again. Finally, the music turned off. Hastings brings that over the blue line. Cron watches the Raider in the corner. Takes that away from her. Oh, clearing pass right through neutral ice. And that was tipped. And I think that was tipped. But in any event, we play on. Referees saying we have icing against the Spartacats. I did not foresee this game being quite this close. The Hastings Raiders working hard, but Spartacats, the better team on the ice, need to start converting a few of these chances, and you get a sense that maybe that will come here very, very soon. They started this period very, very well. This one rolls in on Wilhelm. Cron whips that out, but again, it's to the point. Can't do that. This one to the middle. Bauman sends it out again to the point. And this comes right through the crease, and it's parried away that time by Wilhelm. Another cross crease pass. Opportunity here for Cron. Cron just needs to skate it at this point. Cron just needs to go. Tries to get it on her forehand. Tries to split the defense. Hastings bringing it across the other direction. They shoot from distance. Blocked by the defense. Goes out. Opportunity for the Hastings Raiders, and they score! It's been coming. The Hastings Raiders have had a couple of opportunities where the Spartacats have just kept feeding the point, have not done a good job defensively, and they just need to skate it out. And all the other Spartacats, when a girl's got ahead of steam, have got to get out of the way and let her go. Give her open ice. They're not as crisp as they normally are. And the Spartacats struggling a little bit here against the Hastings team, again, that they should be dominating. Nurka, far side, comes for Olsen. Olsen to the middle. Olsen feeds it to the middle. It's blocked that time. Good shot that time by Olsen. Somebody needs to get out in front of that net. Opportunity here for the Spartacats, and they freeze it? It's frozen. Okay, so I couldn't quite tell what was going on there. But it's frozen by the Hastings goalie. So offensive zone face-off here for Olsen. Olsen, Nelner, and I believe Nurka the far side. Face-off win nominally that time by the Raiders. Scott's going to have to hustle back. She rides the Raider off. Nicely done. Comes for Nelner, who tries to get it out. Can't. But this falls nicely for Olsen, but she's dispossessed. Unlucky that time as Olsen was off to the races. Nelner brings that over the blue line. Steers it right in the way of Nurka. Nurka tries to get it down. Can't. This is going to be a pinch from Scott. Scott slaps at that one. Did not get good wood on it. And the Raiders will come the other direction. Scott takes the Raider off the... And you could have made that call 100 times in this game, and you didn't. But you make the call now. It's unbelievable. What was I telling you folks about officiating in Hastings? It always seems to be just a little bit weird. In any event, we'll have a power play for the Hastings Raiders, and there'll be an offensive zone face-off to the left of Melissa Wilhelm. I'm not saying that wasn't or didn't have to be a trip, but I will tell you that we've had a lot of plays in this game where they could have called penalties and they didn't. And so I wonder quite exactly what's going on with that. Anyway, it comes to the points, broken up that time by Olsen, who sends it forward. Here's a chance for Miller. Miller has it taken off of her stick as Olsen gets dumped behind the play. Raiders trying to break it out far side. Raiders still trying to break it out far side. Olsen holds that in. Cron holds it in far side. It'd be a shame if this game ends up as a tie, as the Spartacats have been the better team on the ice, but they've got to get it into the net. Comes to Cron. Cron sends it towards net. This falls with a rebound. Opportunity for Olsen, who couldn't quite pull the trigger. Olsen tries the backhand centering attempt. This one comes out towards the near boards. Bauman tries to hold it in. She does. Cats need to get back for this one, as they are down a player. This one falls nicely for Olsen. Olsen with another opportunity. Can't get the puck to sit down for her. Comes to the near side. Shoots. Good shot that time by Olsen. Cron tries to hold it in far side. Now Miller tries to hold it in. Miller shoots. This one's going to be bouncing and rolling. It falls for Nelner, who scores! Nelner scores for the Spartacats. And the lead is restored. That is the lead that the Spartacats have deserved through this game. And Nelner cashes in for the Spartacats with just over 3.5 minutes to go. Puck is down and finds Zoe Scott, who punches it down into the Raider end. Forecheck will be the aforementioned Aurelia Nelner. Miller also with a forecheck deep. You have a 1-goal lead. Will the third forward stay high? Comes to Zoe Scott at the point. Zoe feeds it down deep, but it's intercepted that time by the Raiders. Scott can't hold it in. She tries to whip it in again, and while offside against the Spartacats. Marcel, Olsen, and Baker, your forwards. Scott and Shack are your defenders. Marcel gains the blue line but is dispossessed. Good poke check there by the Spartacats between Shack and Olsen. Scott goes the other direction. Spartacats get on the other end of this one. This is Mercell who tries to send it out. Can't. Gets to Shack. Spartacats still can't get it out. Now it comes out, and that's offside against the Raiders. 2:46 to go here in the third period. Spartacats just need to keep the puck down deep in the Raider end. Smart fundamental hockey is what is required. These girls are still learning. So as a result, we're not sure exactly what we're going to see, but Scott changes directions. Fooled her teammates, fooled the... It could have been arguably could have made a call right there. Spartacats get that out. They'll ice the puck. As a Mercell will chase, but again, it's going to be icing against the Spartacats. 2:24 to go. Sorry, some bad camera work there. Spartacats waiting for the face-off to the left of Melissa Wilhelm. Puck's down. Scott's going to claim this one. Slap it to the boards. Nelner has it on her stick. Can't get it out through the point, though. This one's intercepted by Nurka. Oh, it's kept back in. That's offside. Yep, offside against the Raiders, but unlucky that time as Izzy Nurka had a little bit of ice in front of her. If she was able to get by that poke check, she would have been off to the races. We'll have to keep an eye on the Hastings goalie. See if the Hastings goalie is able to get out of her crease. This one falls nicely for Meller. Nelner and Meller on top of each other, just really need to spread out there. This one's sent in, finds Cron on the far side. Cron goes through one defender. Cron had one off the inside of the post earlier in this game. Goes around another defender. Now she's in the corner, feeds the middle. It's blocked and sent high in the air over Miller's head. Cron retreats to her defensive position. This comes to Bauman. Bauman whips it down. Nicely done by Natalie Bauman, whipping that down behind. Here's an opportunity for Cron. Cron keeps it in at the point. Sends it in. Another chance for Cron. Sends it now to the middle. Here's Nelner with an opportunity. Nelner gets on her backhand, tries to pitchfork that on goal. Can't quite do it. And the Raiders claim. Inside 90 seconds to go here in a tight third period. Nelner behind the net. Nelner feeds with the backhand. Opportunity for Miller. Miller skies that one over the top of the net. Baker holds it in. Cat's doing a great job on this one. This one's whipped in, goes past the net. Nelner is going to chase into almost the last minute. This comes for Bauman. Bauman just needs to keep this down. It's blocked. They just need to keep it down deep at this point. Here's Miller. Miller centering pass. Makes it all the way over for Baker. Baker can't unload the cannon. And here come the Raiders going the other direction. They finally have the opportunity to get out of their own zone. The Raider net is now empty. As the Spartacats try to clear the zone, and they can't. This one rolls in. Opportunity, and they score! The Raiders score as the Spartacats unable to get on the other end of that one. And with only their seventh shot of the game, the Raiders come back to get another goal. You could see it developing. Spartacats will feel hard done by. And timeout. I wasn't aware we had timeouts in district play. So the Spartacats out shooting the Raiders 2-1, have managed to concede 2 goals. Just can't let that happen. The first part of that sequence was so good. It was so good. Because the Spartacats had it in the Raider end, but managed to concede that third period equalizer. Spartacats will feel hard done by if they end up in a tie in this game. Second period was at very average by their own standards. Third period they have played better. Everybody's back in position. Nelner, Miller, and I believe that's Olsen far side. Comes for Shack. Shack and gets poked down deep for the Spartacats. This is Scott. Scott needs to skate this out. She's going to pass though. Finds Miller. Miller backhands that out to neutral ice. Can't get out of neutral ice. I thought it was getting into neutral ice. Here's Nelner. Nelner taken down. And the Spartacats will see it go the other direction. This is an opportunity now as icing against the Raiders. Is there a chance that the Spartacats will pull Wilhelm? Is there a chance they'll pull Wilhelm with 13 seconds left? 11 seconds left. Why not pull Wilhelm and put another player in front of the goal? But maybe that's just a little too complicated for 10-year-olds. Puck is down, opportunity for the Spartacats. Can they unload the cannon? Shack's gonna shoot right away. She does shoot. It's blocked by the defense. 3 seconds to go, 2 seconds to go. Opportunity on the back door. And the Hastings Raiders hold on. They survive for a tie. As the Spartacats got another shot in that. A couple of shots in that sequence. And the Spartacats will feel hard done by that they were the better, they will feel like they were the better team on the ice, but a tie in Hastings is disappointing for them. Some good play, but not a lot of connections, just not great passing and converting opportunities, not necessarily their forte today. Tremendous number of clearing attempts went right to the Hastings point. That'll be something they'll have to work on moving forward. But in any event, we have, in any event, we have a final here from Hastings. Final score, Hastings Raiders 2, Spartacats 2. Thanks for joining us.